Let's talk about an interesting creature and fascinating familiar today, the pseudodragon. I'll be drawing from the Monster Manual and Keith Ammon's The Monsters Know What They're Doing. The pseudodragon is found on page 254 of the Monster Manual. They're a CR 1/4 dragon with a neutral good alignment. They have middling stats except for dexterity, which is around 15. They have keen senses, magic resistance, and limited telepathy. Their attacks do around 4 damage, and they can poison a foe, rendering it unconscious for up to an hour. There is a specific block for a pseudodragon familiar in the Monster Manual, and they are incredibly useful. So how do we play these little dragons? Pseudodragons are tiny creatures with large wingspans. If you're playing by strict ecological principles, their wings would be about 5 feet in total. A great horned owl, for example, weighs about 3 pounds and has a wingspan of 4.5 feet. These owls, however, have feathers as insulation, which a pseudodragon lacks. This increases surface area, and if you are assuming an endothermic creature, they would not do well in temperate or cold climates, losing heat very quickly through all that exposed skin. Pseudodragons are likely tropical and subtropical predators, living in caves and trees of various deserts and forests. Both Keith Ammon and the Monster Manual play these as small predators with high intelligence and stealth. They are as intelligent as your average commoner, so they have a solid understanding of what is and is not prey. With dark vision and flight, it could be assumed that these dragons hunt sleeping small prey from above at night. They seek for their prey in the treetops, drop down, land stealthily, and immediately sting their prey. These predators do not anticipate their foes to fight back. They, in turn, would be prey for large cats, bears, and wormlings. Thus, flight directly upwards is their primary escape instinct, or perhaps flight into a heavily forested area if they're being pursued by a flying foe. These are not fighting animals. These are solo hunters. In cities, pseudodragons will enjoy places where it is consistently warm and there is a ready source of food. This meshes well with your average wizard's college. They would still hunt at night, taking pigeons and rats. And a companion that can provide safety from predators, a ready source of food, and a warm place to sleep is an asset they want to keep. Unlike dogs, pseudodragons are not social predators, and bonds are out of convenience, not loyalty. The Monster Manual is specific that the pseudodragon will end service with a companion if they're manipulative, abusive, or if the pseudodragon just gets bored and wants something else. These little dragons can communicate telepathically, although the Monster Manual does not immediately specify that they can hear or sense what the companion is hearing, thinking, or sensing. There is some flexibility as what communicate with really means in the Monster Manual. The stat block suggests a cat with human-level intelligence and charisma. They are stronger than a cat, but their wisdom's actually the same as a cat. As I said, human intelligence, human-level charisma. Since they're not pack hunters, they should be played as relatively selfish but curious. Since they do understand Common and Draconic, it can be assumed that they will listen to the party and understand what the party's talking about when these dragons are awake. The dark vision trait suggests that they are, nocturnal, and Keith Ammon suggests they would make excellent guards. And I would say if their companion has a pseudodragon's hoard in their bag, they've got a supremely loyal guardian that will wake them if danger threatens. If not for the person, then for the hoard. A pseudodragon's abilities make it a perfect scout. High stealth, high perception, coupled with the ability to understand 2 languages and send telepathic images, make it an excellent spy. A party that works at night should employ a pseudodragon to scout out the area and watch for approaching foes. Their flying ability makes them excellent to follow someone through a city at night, and that someone won't even know they're being followed if the stealth is working. Pseudodragons are not fighters. Although they have magic resistance, 1 fireball lobbed at the party will roast a pseudodragon. These dragons can be killed with a single hit. They have 7 hit points and an AC of 13, so that hit will probably land easily. The monsters know what they're doing suggests that they will attack, if only reluctantly, and if to protect their companion. I would disagree with this. I would not have a cat attack someone who's trying to attack me, and the cat would probably just watch. Humanoids are closer in size to pseudodragon predators than they are to pseudodragon prey. So a pseudodragon would absolutely avoid attacking a tanky paladin, but would completely murk a wizard's familiar. Having a pseudodragon get within 5 feet of a foe so that the rogue can land a sneak attack is not something the pseudodragon is going to be willing to do. Telling the pseudo-dragon to go land on that dragon's back and just keep on stinging it. That's a suicide mission. But having the pseudo-dragon stay out of combat and then fly a healing potion down to the first character to drop, great use of a familiar. A great horned owl can carry about 9 pounds, so we're going to assume a pseudo-dragon would carry a similar amount, if not at its full speed. So it can't quite carry a bag of holding, but it could carry up to 4 grenades. There is one way in combat that a pseudo-dragon can be an absolute terror. Since they are familiars, they almost certainly know about spellcasting. That means they not only know the material value of a component pouch or spellcasting focus, but the value to the spellcaster. Dragons are notoriously bad at balancing greed and survival. A pseudo-dragon that sees a cleric holding a shiny holy symbol, or a wizard in the back lines with the pouch just dangling from their belt, sees an opportunity. The pseudo-dragon will stealthily glide to directly above the target, coming from behind. They will then, on their turn, drop onto the item they want and grab it. The dropping doesn't cost movement. This means they're going to get an attack roll with a +4, contested by the target's dexterity or strength, depending if they're nabbing it out of the hand or pulling it out of the hand. Give the target disadvantage on this contest, since no one's expecting a dragon to drop down from above when they are focusing on the front lines. If the pseudo-dragon succeeds, it will fly off at top speed to their own hoard, or just as far away from combat as they can get. This does allow an opportunity attack, but keep in mind, most casters need their hands free for their somatic components, and they would have to make an unarmed swat. If they hit, the dragon will still fly off, unless their one-hit wonder just absolutely murders the dragon. Page 203 of the player's handbook does give rules for casting without a component pouch or spellcasting focus, and your players will want to turn to that very rapidly to learn how disappointing it is. In short, they're going to very quickly have to look through what items they have lying around and what are useful for components, and figure out which limited spells they can still cast. This will sharply change the tenor of the combat. And if the stolen wand was one of those rare items, like the wand of fireballs, the party may have to abandon combat to chase the pseudo-dragon. Good luck with that. They can fly 60 feet per turn.